Post-millennial from Andy No. Tenet Media founders were raided just as the DOJ indictment dropped. Holy crap. We got a bunch of updates here. The Blaze has fired Lauren Chen. And we also have the Washington Post reporting YouTube has taken down Tenet Media and Lauren Chen's channels. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So here's the report from the Post-millennial. Andy No says the founders of Tenet Media, the right-wing media startup accused by the U.S. DOJ of illegally taking nearly $10 million from Russian state actors to launder Russian influence, were raided on Wednesday as the indictment was unsealed, according to sources who spoke exclusively with the Post-millennial. The sources who are not authorized to publicly speak on record said the authorities confiscated the electronic devices belonging to Tenet Media owners Lauren Chen, also known as Lauren Yusum Tam, I didn't know that, and her husband Liam Donovan, around the same time the Biden-Harris administration announced the indictment. I don't think the owners had any idea about the investigation, one source said. The raid just came out of nowhere. Source said the couple, who are Canadian nationals living in Tennessee, had recently returned from a trip abroad. Chen, a right-wing YouTuber and social media personality, and her husband have not commented publicly. The company's social media accounts were still posting content just before the indictment was unsealed. Sources tell the Post-millennial that Tenet Media staff had been kept entirely in the dark since the indictment's announcement, with the founders not communicating at all with any employees or contributors. Tenet Media has not issued any public comment. Now, this is interesting. There was a quickly posted and deleted comment that said, "Fired employee here, access still. There is evidence we were actually funded by Russia, and it's a disgrace. We are traitors to America." And it was deleted within a few seconds. Very interesting. And now we have the Blaze has fired Lauren Chen. I don't think they've added much else after that. And then YouTube has terminated these channels. This is absolutely crazy. And, the one thing I can add to this, obviously, is we had a show licensed to Tenet. We do sponsors, right? And now we regularly have ad sales where a company will come to us and say, we'd like to sponsor your show. And it's immediately now like, who are you? Where are you from? Why are you doing this? Because the crazy thing about Lauren Chen is we've known her for so long. She's been a prominent producer for over a decade. She works for The Blaze. She was a contributor to TP USA. And everyone was just like, oh, yeah, she's starting a company. Sure. This is nuts. But the crazy thing I would also add is it actually is very scary. This indictment is an allegation not yet proven in court. And that's a statement from the DOJ. The DOJ said that. They said these are allegations not yet proven to be true. And these individuals are presumed innocent. And that's not in reference to Lauren Chen or Liam Donovan. The crazy thing is that YouTube took down Lauren Chen's channel. YouTube terminated Lauren Chen's channel. She's not been indicted on any crime. She's not been accused of any crime. She's listed in this document. There are some damning allegations, but she's not yet been indicted. And YouTube just nuked their channels instantly. Tenet, I could understand. But even after that, these are still just allegations, which is kind of worrying.
Yeah.
Well, on the Andy added an update which says, shortly after the report was published, Tenet Media announced privately to its staff that it was ceasing operations effective immediately.
Whoa, wait, where? When did he say that? Did he tweet it?
No, he just told me because he was watching. And he just told me that you didn't update and it wasn't there at the top. And I'm looking at the story.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Shortly after this report was published, Tenet Media announced privately to its staff that it was ceasing operations effective immediately.
Yeah.
If you guys ever wonder why Libby's on her laptop during the show, she is actively always working.
Yeah.
Well, I was just talking to Andy.
So, Timcast, the company where we do the show, I'll give you a quick history. I started a YouTube channel a long time ago. Worked for a couple big media outlets. They paid me good sums of money when I worked for Disney and for Vice. Then I used that money to invest in my YouTube channel, which it grew and generated revenue. Carl Benjamin had me do a guest spot on his channel, which gave me a bunch of subscribers. Shortly after that, I went on Joe Rogan, got way more subscribers. Big YouTube channels make lots of money. Reinvested back into the company. The company grew substantially. So when Lauren Chen approached us about a deal, it was like, hey, we'd like to license your show for distribution. That's the gist of it. The show already existed. It's on youtube.com/Timcast. It has 1.3 million subscribers. And I was like, okay. And then that's it. It was not exclusive. This is absolutely insane that, I don't know. I don't know. They fired her even. I got to say, it really does look like from this reporting, she's going to be charged. Her and Liam are going to face criminal charges.
There's another statement in the story, apparently.
What is it?
That Donovan sent a message to staff saying, as most of you may know by now, there's a federal investigation surrounding Tenet at the moment. There have been no indictments against us or the company. We've
Oh, I
hired
see, I
legal
see.
counsel and are working through the legal issues. We hope to provide more clarity soon. However, it is clear that given the nature of the investigation, we have no choice but to stop all work on Tenet. I do not foresee it coming back.
Absolutely insane. I
That is
mean,
crazy.
the DOJ indictment's fairly damning. It says that when they were looking for remittances and they didn't get a response, they Google searched time in Moscow.
That's pretty
That's a bold claim. But hey, these are allegations. I don't know what's true.
due process.
Yeah, and I have not talked to Lauren Chen after any of this stuff, and I think I only talked to her a couple times this year at all, and I think it was one time because she came on the show with Pearl Davis, and we talked about dating and like marriage and stuff.
And she was here with Benny Johnson after that, I think.
She was here with Benny Johnson?
Yeah, she and Benny Johnson were here.
Man, I barely remember.
I think it is pretty funny though that if it's true that she Googled that, it's like, you know, that's the same thing that what Bob Menendez's wife did when they had the gold bars. You know, they were like, oh, what to do with all these gold bars? It's like, if you're committing crimes, don't Google about what crime you're committing, because like they will find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, I think that it's just one of these things that I don't trust the DOJ. On the other hand, these are very serious allegations, and especially during election year, you know, to have the credibility of a lot of people who are openly discussing politics in a way that the Biden administration doesn't like come under scrutiny. You know, it's rough.
And the kind of bizarre thing is, you know, the media has always been saying that, you know, Trump is Putin's candidate, you know, Trump is pro-Russia. And, you know, you follow Lauren's Twitter feed, and like she's been very critical of Trump from a more further right perspective. It's like I don't see how, you know, Russia gains or anything like that if this is all true. Like it's just kind of bizarre. It's like, you know, what do they gain from attacking Trump from the right other than, I guess, this general discord? But
I think Trump had a statement about it on Truth Social. Let's see if I can pull that one up. Blah blah blah. No, I don't know. He had some Truth Social posts, but the media's not covering it because it doesn't lend to their narrative. But here we are, man. I don't know if this is a pre-October surprise. Early voting is starting in what do you say, Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania on the 16th.
North Carolina is coming up too.
Pennsylvania is the one that matters.
Pennsylvania's first, too.
Yeah, that's a very big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there could be more October surprise, you know? I mean,
September surprise.
yeah, well, we've got the September surprise. Maybe they're just going to keep ramping it up, you know?
Yeah, I almost feel like it's not going to be a surprise. It's just going to be like hit after hit after hit after hit after hit until the
Well, that
election.
has been like, for people who work in news, it has been ludicrous. It has been just absolutely insane. Like, every single day is a collection of crazy stories, none of which have anything to do with each other. So you're just constantly like assigning writers, like, you do this crazy thing. How about you do this crazy thing? They're all breaking. You have to come up with new words for breaking. You know, just in. New crazy thing happened. And you have school shootings. That poor kid, you know, like it looks like he was abused by his dad on top of everything else.
I'm just looking at all the stuff that's going on, and I'm really worried about what happens like mid-November and December. Sounds scary.
Yeah. And also terrible for the victims, obviously. I don't mean to just say. I always feel bad for the person who has so much trouble that they give in to evil. I always feel bad for that person.
Yeah, well, I'm worried about what happens to the stability of this country.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving post, you know, after November 5th.
Yeah.
2 months, 61
happens?
days.
Yeah.
And up until that point, you know, I feel like the stuff that we're seeing now, this is absolutely, these allegations are absolutely crazy. And, man, I have no idea. I feel like what's to come is going to get nuts. Because I've been saying this for a while now. They're going to go after anti-establishment channels. You know, I don't know.
Well, it's a concern. And they certainly didn't have a problem going after Steve Bannon.
Yep. And Peter Navarro.
And, you know, War Room's doing a really good job holding it together until he gets back. But
Now we've got, you know,
When
Lichtman
does he
saying
get
Harris
released?
wins.
I think it's like the end of October, right?
Yeah, right before the election. Lichtman's got it for Harris. Silver's got it for Trump. They're both subject to change, I guess. The question then becomes, what happens on November 6th?
What happens? I guess.
What do you think?
I think it totally depends on who wins.
Well, I know. That's the question. I mean, is there going to be a winner?
Yeah. I also think, like, if it is, like, a very tight electoral college outcome, like, I could see just chaos, violence the day after. And especially if, states are, like, very marginal and they're swapping because of mail-in ballots or something like that, it's going to be hectic. But if it's clear one way or the other, I think most people will. I think there'll be some frustration, some anger, but I don't know if it devolves into, like, mass chaos.
Have you seen the HAVV numbers? The Help America vote verification stuff?
No.
Have you updated those?
I don't know. Let's pull up the week ending August 31st and take a look at Missouri. Whoa! Holy crap, is this true? Week ending August 31st, 2024. Let's zoom in. Are you familiar with HAVV?
I am not.
This is the Help America vote verification system. What you're seeing here, and we'll start with these numbers, Alabama, total transactions. This is 3,041 voter registration attempts from individuals who don't have IDs. What they do is the DMV or the Motor Vehicle Administration will submit the registration application along with the last four of their social, name and birthday to the SSA, who will then confirm if the person exists. Alabama had 3,041 total attempts. 815 of those registrations did not come back matched to a Social Security name and number. 2,226 did. 1,943 were dead. Were alive. 283 were dead. So that's over a 1 week period. Arizona had 53,200 voter registration attempts without IDs.
Wow.
Missouri had 36,769 people attempt to register to vote without an ID. 237 were dead. 3,141 did not match the SSA database.
Could a lot of these be voter registration drives? So with a voter registration
millions per month? I mean, or hundreds of thousands per month?
Well, in Arizona, I know Charlie Kirk just did like a huge voter registration drive.
And 53,000 of the people that he registered didn't have IDs?
Well, it's not that they didn't have IDs. It's that when you do a voter registration drive, you maybe like check the ID, but you don't submit their voter registration with their ID because they take their ID back.
If you put your ID down and you write your ID information, you're good. This is for people who don't have one, who submit specifically with their Social Security numbers.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that's. I don't remember the last time I looked at a voter drive form.
What's interesting is why that's probably so high, because I was kind of shocked to see that number. Is in Missouri on the November ballot we have an abortion referendum. So yeah. I know Democrats are doing voter registration drives all across the state to try and make sure that margin goes their way.
Does Missouri have early voting?
Here's Missouri, February.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Here's Missouri, February 17th of this year. 78,421 registration attempts without an ID. 23,253 of those attempts were from dead people.
That is crazy. Why are there dead people registering to vote?
The argument that people say makes the most sense is that this is the reapplication of existing voter registration forms to check as a voter roll cleanup thing. I don't know that makes sense. If the point of this, SSA says it's only for voter registrations with IDs, this would mean the state's abusing the system. And I don't know the mechanism by which they submit, but my understanding, according to the website, is you submit the form, the registration for the voter registration form with the information about their Social Security number, name, and date of birth. I don't see how Missouri doing voter roll cleanup would take a stack of voter registration forms from when. I mean, if we're talking about 23,253 people who are deceased, that means they must have been registered for quite some time, right? I can't imagine those are murder victims. They're people that have old age.
Yeah.
Why would the state still have all their forms? Still have all the is the argument
really slow? Do you bureaucracy is really slow?
But how does that explain 23,000 dead people in Missouri? The explanation may be that they filled out new application forms for everybody on the voter rolls and then submitted them to see if they were still alive so they could remove them later. Seems kind of circuitous.
Are these people who submitted a voter registration and are now registered, or these were just people who submitted registration and then got flagged?
So all this checks is whether they have a Social Security number.
Okay.
So the way it works is total non-matches. So let's do Alabama for the week of February 17th, 1,092 transactions. These are the DMV submitting the form saying, here are the people who tried to register. 210 did not match. Okay. So that person likely will not get registered.
Yeah.
882 did match. They likely will go back and the state will be like, okay, these names are good.
Okay.
And however, 276 were dead. So they'd likely say, okay, take that name. This person can't register. They're dead. The question is, how does a dead person try to register to vote?
Yeah.
The argument could be that they register and then die, and the application was sitting on the desk for a few weeks or something. But 23,000?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a like
That's
very
absurd.
specific plague hit suddenly?
No. I will say this. This is something that I need to talk to. So my state senator actually won the primary, and he arguably the most conservative one of the 8 candidates that were running for Secretary of State of Missouri. So he will be the next Secretary of State, and I need to talk to him about this. Yeah, and this is eye-opening, but yeah, it's disturbing. In 1 week, 23,000 dead people. That's absurd.
The argument is that it's voter roll cleanup, and that's the only thing that really makes sense. But
Yeah.
I don't understand the mechanism by which you use a voter registration system for voter roll cleanup. It seems like a leap.
Yeah.
But what's the other argument? That someone tried to register a bunch of names they found and they were dead people? I mean, that's crazy too.
Yeah. Well, one, and this is me spitballing, one thing I could think is, as they're gathering signatures to put things on the ballot, they cross-reference that to see if they're registered voter or not. So maybe they find out that these signatures are either dead, like these people are not alive or anything like that, and then they eliminate them. But still, I don't.
No idea.
Yeah, that is bizarre. It's definitely something that we need to look into.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.